Good evening, everyone. And this is Gil at Camppatton Family Compound. Let me get the wrong button there. There we go. Tammy at Rebel Canners will not be with us tonight. She just texted me a little while ago. She is under the weather quite a bit, and we would appreciate our prayers for her. I do have Mark at Chef Tech here, and we're here for the Monday Night Fireside chat. And tonight's topic is off-grid canning. And with that, here we are. I hear noise coming over your thing there, Mark.
It's my alarm saying, "Hey, Gil's on."
Yeah, mine already shut mine off. My 2-minute warning one. All right, well, let's see who all's here. And okay, hang on, just got another one there. Yep, and we got another person just came in, so let's go to the list and hit the list. So first one in was Walt Rogers. Then Troop 1351, Phelan Clan Wolf is lurking. Oh, Walt says he's listening while he takes care of the horses. And then you rolled in and said hi. Geeky Gardens is here. Your alter eagles, your evil twins here, Mark.
Oh crap!
Yeah.
I keep trying to make them forget, but it doesn't work.
Yeah. Kaylin Strain is here. Prepper for the Ages is in the house. Lewis is here. It's the Marshmallow Man. Diana 2 is here. Shady Hill Homestead is here. Angels Homestead is here. Angels is lurking while babysitting. All righty. And get rid of all the notifications that are popping up here. I've gotten like 4 today from Fireball Tool, putting out a lot of cool videos over there. Speaking of cool videos, Kaylin Strain put out a video today too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. A mail call from, I forget the name now, not Hendrix. Anyways, yeah, put out a video on that there today. All righty, so tonight is actually something that Tammy has done.
Yeah, I haven't. So,
yeah. And
but the science is there.
Technically, since I wasn't using that electric monstrosity back there behind me, I get my hands to aim right. There we go. I was using the propane indoor-outdoor one, which is going to be our off-grid stovetop. So yeah, I have canned a couple times on that thing.
Until you can't buy gas anymore, but
Yeah. Of course, hopefully by then I'll be able to get the little if everything goes totally down, I will have the hydrogen producer going so I can produce hydrogen and put the odorizer on it and use hydrogen to power that sucker.
Yeah, you might want to change your jets on that thing.
Yes.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, change the jets, change the
hydrogen's weird because it gets really hot when you touch the flame, but near the flame it's not.
Yeah.
So you're either going to boil water or melt a hole in your pot.
Yeah. Which is why I'll test it out with an old heavy duty steel pot that was made from a bump cap of an 8-inch water pipe.
Try with a thick cast iron pan first that you're not worried
about.
Oh
no, this is this is like twice as thick as a cast iron pan.
Oh jeez.
Yes.
So you'll have to do the hydrogen thing at some other point on the other channel.
Yeah.
I'd like to know what you're doing.
Oh, that's right. And then she dropped the thrift store haul. Yes. So Kaylin has 2 videos out, guys. If you haven't seen them, slide over there afterwards and check them out.
You went to the thrift store. You're going to run out of room in that apartment here shortly.
All righty. So, yeah, there it is. Yeah, it was Mike Kitchener. That was it. Yes. Oh. And Mike is just not always in on her Sunday night MRE testing and review. All righty. So canning off grid. It's not as extreme as you would think, but it is harder than you would think for one type, and it's really easy for the other type.
Yeah.
Any guesses?
Yeah, easy for propane off grid, hard for a fire that you got to keep just right, or a rocket stove.
Well, no, what I'm thinking is it's going to be real easy for a fire pit for water bath canning. It's going to be real easy. Real easy.
Just keep it boiling. Doesn't matter how hot it gets, it's just boiling. Yeah.
Exactly. And hey, let's look at some pictures here. All right, so let's take it down one.
So that's when you back it back. Yeah, that's Tammy's picture.
Yeah.
That's when you back it back to the rebel side of, okay, I don't have a pressure canner. I don't have enough whatever to keep my pressure canner at temperature, but I can keep water boiling for 3 hours.
Yep.
So now you're water bathing everything for 3 hours, but you better keep that fire going. You don't run to the store or whatever and go get some marshmallows and stuff to make s'mores. No, you're staying there to keep that pot of water boiling.
Yeah, you send somebody else to the store to get the s'mores and stuff. If the stores are even functioning.
If they're even open, exactly.
All right, interesting thing with this picture.
I'm going to go raid the old CVS and see if anybody left marshmallows and Hershey bars. Sure.
All right. So with this one here, when she was talking about just outdoor canning and canning for a campfire, not in a total off-grid situation. Yeah, you build a fire in the back, you drag the coals under it, and you keep the fire going. It looks like they're like this one here. It looks like they've hit the time mark, and they kind of push coals back away from it, so it's going to be cooling down now. So
you just got to watch out with your canners. If you have plastic or Bakelite handles, you will ruin them.
Yeah.
Or wood handles. Some of my old Americans have like a wood spindle for the handle.
Yeah.
And you probably, and there's nothing in between. It's just a bolt. So just make sure you got a good set of gloves or heavy duty pot holders to get it off of there.
Yeah. All right. Next one here. Well, there's the simple one. You got yourself cinder blocks up to, to contain the fire and the heat. And you got yourself your graniteware pot sitting on top.
Yeah. So just to clarify on that picture, and I put the other picture too, the metal grate that's being used there looks like a refrigerator or a stove grate.
Yeah.
I would not use that as a barbecue grate for direct food contact.
Oh, no. Heck no.
They have zinc. They have all kinds of other metals in them.
Cadmium.
Yeah, you might get lucky and they're solid stainless, but I doubt it. Refrigerator ones are the worst. People like to use those, and then everybody gets chemical poisoning from the food. So never use a refrigerator rack or a stove rack for grilling direct. You can use it for heat. It won't be. You're not going to put it back in the fridge when you're done.
Yeah, it's going to be warped.
It'll be all messed up from heat.
Yeah.
Too much weight. You got to be careful it doesn't get too hot and then literally drop everything in the fire. Then you're kind of done.
Yeah. And like Jack said, put sheet metal under the canner to better regulate the heat.
It also spreads the weight.
Yep. Yeah, okay. And so, for something like this, I would go ahead of time, and get some pieces of rebar and either weld it together, make a grate out of rebar that can take the heat and stuff. Or if you just salvaging stuff and you salvage some rebar, just bend it so that it makes a 90-degree bend, and the bends go down inside, like here would go down inside the cinder blocks.
You can get that concrete reinforcement grating, which is like, I think they're 2x2 squares. Sometimes they're 4x4, and they're heavy. And you can usually get it cheap. Usually you find it at literally a scrap yard if they let you walk around, which is rare these days.
Yeah.
I did that once, found a whole bunch of pieces of that. I'm like, I'll take that and that. I made a pig roaster out of a 500-gallon oil tank.
All right. Let's see what the next picture I got here is.
There you go.
Old school, really going off grid, even without going through a disaster. Some people they'll have a wood burning stove as well as a propane stove, or they'll have like one of the propane countertop ones, for stuff. But even with this, if you do it right, you can pressure can on it. You definitely can water bath can.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Pressure canning in the house on a wood stove. You better be doing that in the wintertime because your house is going to be hot.
Yep. And that's what they didn't do pressure canning, they did water bath canning. My grandmother and great grandmother up there in northern Idaho. Yeah. And this looks like, this is an old Presto, because it looks very similar to the one I have that was my mom's that I got in the living room. No, I got sitting right there.
That's not as old as the Presto I got. Mine, the pressure gauge is actually tilted backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an oldie but a goodie. That one's in a box. I may or may not ever use it. I might once just because. But I got 4 All-Americans, so I'm kind of like not in the mood. Rather not worry about the gasket.
Mother Earth Garden Club is in the house, and she says, I tried to fill the green stock with more potting soil. Dang near got frostbite. So cold outside. Oh,
jeez.
Down to 20. Yeah. Hey, well, on the bright side, at least it's not minus 20.
Yeah.
That
reminds me, I gotta go outside before I go to bed tonight and get my little Mr. Peaches, my little peach tree, because it's going down to like the mid 30s tonight. And I'm gonna bring that in. Outside.
Yeah.
The berry bushes.
What was it? 3 years ago? 3 years ago, I think it was. I was out there with my infrared thermometer again, whatever,
Yep.
And it was I got minus 27 on the garbage cans sitting out back.
Ooh.
Yes. All right. That was during the polar vortex. All right. Next one here. I think it's going to be the same stove, same pot, but a different view. Yep. Same stove, same pot. Oh, that's a Best Made, which was made by or bought by
Presto.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my gauge. That's the gauge. Except my gauge is red. It's not a Best Made. I think it's still a Presto, but the gauge is tilted backwards.
Yeah.
Just like that one. Whether it works or not, it's another story, but I got the weight for it, so I'm not worried about it.
Yeah. So you can see the wood fire down in there, but they don't cook it on top. They take the little
take that plate off. You need more direct heat, not diffused heat, to make sure your pressure stays up.
Yeah.
And that's where if your pressure is 10 psi for whatever you're doing, just picking a number, you need to keep it at least 11, because as that fire burns down, if you open the door up as it gets a little low, you may lose a little bit of heat temporarily till the logs start to light up.
Yeah.
So you don't want it to ever drop below your minimum pressure, or else you start all over again.
Yeah. What?
At least for the time, you got to start the time. You don't have to vent it. You just got to start the time again.
Yeah, you just reset the clock and keep the fire going.
Yep.
On something like this, I would, personally, if my pressure was supposed to be 10 or 11, I'd just go ahead and put it on 15.
Sure. You can keep it up there. Just don't get it above 20, where that's where your pressure relief valve blows off.
Yeah. All right. Another little picture here of a wood stove being used for canning. And
I can imagine how hot that kitchen was with that stove.
Yeah. All depends on the time of year. If it's late fall and it's starting to get chilly, all they need to do is open up the one window in the kitchen.
Yeah, well, you need to get some air in there for the fire anyway. But yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. All right. Why do I have a modern stove for off-grid?
It's propane.
And some people go, well, they're still on the grid for propane. You got to go get it. It's delivered to a certain area. Yeah, but it's not delivered to your area. If you have the big if you got the big supersized house tank out there that you only have to fill up once a year, and even then it's only half empty, yeah, you're off. You're basically off grid for most of the year.
Off grid doesn't mean Milwaukee. That's a different topic there. Off grid just means you're not hooked to the grid, so you can go get propane. You still have a job, maybe. You know, probably.
What it means is someone can't be lose your electricity and your natural gas because someone flipped the switch or turned the valve.
Yeah, or your smart meter. Yeah.
Or somebody went and dug through the gas line out in the street and they tore out a 40-foot long piece out of the coupler down the thing, and so they got to dig all the way back till they find where the piece got tore out.
You just got to worry about that hunter in the area that accidentally shoots your tank.
Yeah. All right. Now I do have this type of stove here. This is the 2-burner from the 2-burner Expedition from Camp Chef.
Yep,
I don't have that. I don't have that 41 quart one there. I would like to have the 41 quart, but yeah. And of course,
those you got to be careful on, because you don't want to bring you don't want to have that temperature so high.
Yeah.
Then you get a lot of siphoning and other problems. You could buckle and ruin the bottom of the pot. So you got to keep your flame low. That's where you use a diffuser on it or a steel plate.
Yeah, the Camp Chef, as opposed to some of those turkey fryers out there, does not have as hot of a burner on it, and they have a lot better control on their burner.
Yeah,
because my wife used it out here, and she was there, and she kept it right on. She was pressure cooking in it, and she kept it right on pressure.
Yeah.
No problem at all.
I bought a turkey fryer stove, and that thing is like a blowtorch.
Yeah,
you can't, and you try to turn it down, the flame goes out. I'm like, why did I waste $45 on this thing? And I'll probably never use it now because of that. It just blows through so much propane. I'm not going to be deep frying any turkeys anytime soon.
Yeah. And even then, you'd probably only do 1 or 2 a year. One at Thanksgiving, one at Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so and there's the Camp Chef series from the I got the 2-burner here. I got the 3-burner at in Martinez with the wife, and it works fine there. She actually also has a propane barbecue with that she's able to get it up so it has the flame, the flames exposed there, so she can put pots of water on there and boil water on her thing. And she did water bath canning on that for some apricot jam. Yeah. All right, let me look back at what we got here. Lewis took a barbecue rack that was made out of cast iron for direct cook food over a campfire. Cool.
Oh yeah. I do that every year I went camping up to New Hampshire. I wouldn't bring much with me. I didn't have the space with 3 kids and a small minivan. And I would go to Lowe's and I would buy the 24-inch or whatever size barbecue rack for like $12. I bring it to the campground. That's what we cooked on. And when I left it there. The 5th year, the owner was like, "Hey, you're all moved in." I was like, "Yeah, I got to run to Lowe's, get my stuff." He's like, "What are you going to get?" And I told him. He's like, "No, just take one of your old ones," because I would leave them there. They would just hang them up and let people borrow them. He's like, "Dude, stop leaving me stuff."
Yeah.
So I just take my old one and use that and leave it when I'm done and hang it back up in his little barn, and everybody could use it. And I knew they were all mine.
All right. So a solo stove. That's a
that's the little gas one, right?
Yeah, I think it's one. I don't think I mean, I think it's a single burner one.
If it's propane and big enough and you can get water to boil, you can water bath. You may not have enough BTUs to get a pressure canner up the pressure. Yeah. If it's butane with those little paint cans of butane, don't bother. Yeah. By the time you get up to even water boiling, it doesn't matter what time of year it is, with that thing going full blast, your can will start to freeze and the pressure drops and the temperature drops. It happens to me all the time at the cabin.
The only thing is with one of those little small ones that has the little spindle about the size of my little pinky with the threads on it, the male threads there, you know, for the can that screws in the bottom of it. They make an adapter that you screw in the bottom of your thing, then you screw the hose on from the propane tank onto that.
Oh yeah.
So
that's what I do with all my little propane stoves at the cabin. I have a 20-pound tank there that I just plug it into that. I don't waste my time with the little bottles. But the butane ones, yeah, not so much.
Mosk has two single burner versions. They have decent flame control. That's good.
Yeah. Yep.
We cooked those when our old stove wouldn't work well. Can you use wood, charcoal, coal, etc.? Yes.
Sure.
But takes skill. And I'll go back to the picture in a minute on that one. Explain that. Do I got another picture after that? So this is the one I have. It's propane. That monstrosity in the back is electric, and it has not been on but a few times since I've been here, and has not been on since I got the cooktop, the propane cooktop. Okay, that's the end of it. Let me go back up here, folks. All right. Either one of these, either setting up something like this or like this, you can use
hardwood, charcoal, whatever.
Yeah, you can use what if it burns. Yeah, you can, and burns at a decent rate and stays, with nice coals going. Yeah, you can do wood or charcoal on either one of these. However, if I was going to do something like using this style, I would have a second. I would have a pit near the side with stuff burning that I could take a shovel and take the coals out and put the coals over here, so I don't have a yellow flame under the pot. You just have the coals. Same thing with the charcoal. You have when you look at the charcoals, when they get down to about 3/4 in size, then you start tossing other charcoals in with it, or you have another pit going, and you start those charcoals going, and you just feed back. You just feed it across to make sure you keep the temperature in under the pot there at the right temperature, so it keeps the pot going.
Yeah, hardwood's always the best, but you know what? If you live up in Alaska where there's only pine, you're gonna cook on, not direct cook your steaks, but you're gonna heat stuff with pine. People heat their house with pine. You got to clean the chimney.
Yeah. But that's what we did in when we lived in Fredonia, Arizona. We had a potbelly stove to heat the house because we didn't want to pay the insane prices for the fuel oil furnace that was in the house. And we went up and just cut firewood and just did that. And we actually boiled water on that pot. Boy, did we boil water in that potbelly stove sometimes. And make hot chocolate and do everything else on that stove.
You're going to keep water boiling on those stoves all the time to keep the humidity up in the house, so the wood doesn't spontaneously combust above the fire.
All right. On this type here, you would move back to the back side there, where you have the coals protected and have your other fire go in the front, and just have like a 4-prong rake or a 6-prong rake with a metal handle that you can just push the coals back, work the coals, and push the good coals back under it to keep a good heat underneath the pressure canner. Yep. But in either case, either one of these, I wouldn't be worrying too much about pressure canning. I just go full Amish and use the granite ware.
Now you can use your pressure canner for water bath. You just don't need to worry about. You just put the lid on it, but you don't seal it.
Right.
I wouldn't even use the gasket, because on a rubber gasket on that kind of a fire, you do kind of take a chance of that rubber gasket having issues later because of the amount of heat and the way the heat comes up.
And the creosote or whatever from the flames and stuff. Yeah.
So I water bath in my pressure canners all the time. I just lay the lid on there. I don't seal it up and make it get the pressure. I just lay the lid on there and leave my weight off, and it just spits steam out the side. As long as it's boiling, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And I forgot to bring the other one up here, didn't I? Yeah, I did. All right, never mind. Let me go here. Let me drop that out of the way. And get that down. And bring something else up here for you guys.
So yeah, off-grid doesn't mean end of the world. Off-grid just means you're not connected to gas, electric, whatever. And
or there is a short duration event, such as a stupid backhoe operator who won't listen to his spotter and decide, and that was a gas line there.
Oops.
Yeah. Okay. All right. The ones I showed, the Chef Tech Explorer.
The Camp Chef, Camp Chef Explorer.
The Camp Chef Explorer 2 or the Explorer 3 work just fine because they're not the super hot jet engine turkey boilers ones that are made to be cooked on. And
you can turn those up and get them really hot. You just don't do that when you're canning.
You just you turn it down and you just and you look at the flame and you put your hand near it and you feel the radiant heat. Okay, that's about right. And you just judge it there. It's a learning curve the first time using it. But once it starts coming up to pressure, then you start adjusting the pressure until you get it to set and get it to, okay, it's a couple pounds above where I want it at for the minimum, couple pounds above minimum. You have enough
propane, because if that tank is if you know that tank is gonna run out, you better turn it up a little bit, get that pressure up way above your 10 psi, your minimum mark. Get it up there and be really fast swapping over tanks so your pressure doesn't drop off and it maintains pressure in between tank changes. So even though you have like 3/4 of a tank, put a fresh tank on there if you got to do it. And then use the partial tanks for just general cooking. Because if it runs out when you're cooking a steak or something or stew, that doesn't really matter.
Yeah. It's like when I started this year, when I started doing the canning the ground beef and stuff, canning the taco meat, I felt that tank, I ain't got a chance. I just turned it off, disconnected, put a fresh tank on it, set it off to the side, and used it for regular cooking. And Sumi's here. Woo-hoo. Now, getting back to where was I going to? All right, so talk about they can, if you crank it up way too high and just leave it going all the time, it'll heat up too fast, and the jars will react because all of a sudden it's hotter outside. Then heat up slowly to do the thing. You have problems with that. But if you're using common sense,
Jamie has a bunch of videos on that about using an outdoor stove and explains it. I can re-explain it.
Yeah.
So like normal pressure canning, you bring it up, so you need to vent it for 10 minutes. But if your heat is way too high and you're venting off, the contents in your jars haven't come up to temperature yet. And when you seal it up, you'll get all kinds of problems. You'll have jars breaking, siphoning issues, all that stuff. Yeah. So pretend it's an indoor stove and just bring it up slow.
Yeah. And so with those the Camp Chef style and the other ones that are out there, you got to before you start canning on it, cook on it and learn how to do the dig ages and see whether it's an easy control or whether it's a it's a jet now. Oh, now it's barely going. Oh, it's a jet now. Now it's barely going. Now you want one that has good control. Now the one I have here is made for indoors and outdoors. And it burns, it has good things on it. So the flame is nice and blue, just like a regular natural gas stove. And so it's just like cooking on a regular natural gas stove, only it's a propane stove. And it works just fine. And I got 3 or 4 videos out here this year where I was cooking on it, and we're watching you and Tammy were there, and we're watching the needle come up and sit there and, okay, it's starting to go down. So turn it back up a little bit, keep it up above. But yeah, it the propane ones, especially if it says indoor outdoor on it, you're good to go. Those are good to go. And just as, well, hang on, let me put it up here real quick here. For those that haven't seen it yet, and I'll give you the price on that here. Hang on.
Yeah, they've gone up. They're like the 2-burner Camp Chef. They got to be up to like about 150 or 160 bucks now, or more.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right. So let me put those one out here, and let me go back here to. I'm not sure. No, I think I got both of mine at either Sam's Club or Costco, but I'll look at it here. So,
all right, the one I have, I got at Sam's Club like 20 years ago, and it has the wind deflector and all that. But even back then, I think I paid about $1.30 for it. They weren't cheap back then because it wasn't a popular thing, so it was whatever they had.
All right. All right, so
hey, Harbor Freight commercial.
All right, let's see. I'm not getting commercials on my two things here. So this is the Camp Chef 2-burner, and so it is 136. 136.
That's not too bad. That's about what I paid for it 20 years ago.
Now the version I got of it. Let's see if they got the version I got of it here.
What, the 3-burner?
No, it comes with the this griddle here on it. This griddle here is 103 now. When I got it, this griddle was 79.
I told you I got my own griddle. I had made up 1/2-inch plate steel with 1/4-inch plate, 3 sides. That's what I used to cook a lot on when I was working at the dealership and that. I still have it. And because it's never going to rot. I just got to clean it back off. I'm taking that out to the cabin in 2 weeks with the stove and everything else. I'm
going to bring this one up to look at this one here. This is gas 1. I'm pretty sure it is made in the land of the Red Dragon.
Yeah. So if you look at the legs, if you notice the legs on that, they're straight up and down, very unstable. The ones I have and the one Gil has, the legs are out at about a 20-degree angle from the corners, not front to back, but at 45 degrees out from each corner. So it gives you a whole lot more stability for weight. Those things are wobbly.
Yeah, this looks like it's got an adjustable regulator on it. But the flames, it looks like it's got a decent, flame setup on it.
Sure, looks like it until you get
Looks like it. But you got two big rings and a small ring in the middle. So you should be able to turn that one down. But that one there is $89.
Yeah, you can keep that one. Get what you paid for.
Yeah. So this one here, so you can see the legs angle out. Let me see if it gives a different angle. You can see it here. See how the legs angle out and apart. Yeah, so this is good. You don't have to use. You can put this straight on top of a wooden picnic bench.
Yeah, or put the legs on it and put it on the ground.
Yes, and yeah,
30,000. That's 15,000 burn. Is it 30,000
per
each burner? Okay,
per burner.
Yeah, that's what mine is. Yep.
Yeah. So and you can get all sorts of Camp Chef and other accessories for it besides doing canning on. So but the other one, this one here, wrong one, this one. All right, so okay, it dropped another $4. All right, so this is the one I have. It's got the comes with the hose with the regulator, the come on, let me get up here so I can catch that. There we go. So the JIC type gas fitting on it for the back, and you can get a 90-degree fitting because it points straight out the back. So you can get a JIC 90-degree fitting on it, so the hose isn't going straight out the back. You can get it going off to the sides or straight down. And Amazon has those, but yeah, because there it is. It just comes straight out the back. But $89. I mean, $85. It's just like Dang, there's your measurements on it. So I'm going to throw the link in there in case anybody wants to get this for their emergency. Hey, $89 a Coleman camp stove is almost $89.
Yeah, for the white gas. Yeah.
Well, I mean the nice Coleman 2 burners that are big enough to put a big pot on are nearly $89. Okay, so Control C. There we go. Throw that there. Tammy Harder's in the house. The things I've shown do not need a diffuser. They don't need one. The 2-burner one that I have here, my wife has pressure cooked on it. Basically took it up just like a pressure canner and kept it at the cooking temperature and did the pot roast in there. No problem because it has good control. Now a turkey fryer, oh yeah, you're going to need a hefty duty diffuser for that turkey fryer one, if it even will diffuse enough. But most of these, the Camp Chef ones, any of the ones that are made for camp cooking and all the different things on it, they're going to be 30,000 BTU or less, not 75,000 for the 1 burner or 150,000 for the 1 burner. Yeah, those things are jet engines.
Yeah, that thing will just burn a hole in your aluminum bottom canner.
Yeah,
and warp it and destroy it.
Minus gas.
Yeah, that's my next trick is with my 2-burner Camp Chef, whatever it is I have a cast iron wok. And yeah, I'm going to be doing real stir fry out at the cabin at some point. Yes, I will do a live feed when I get to that point.
Oh, okay. I missed it. I forgot I was going to mention it. I forgot to mention it. Somebody, let me go back up, see if I see it. It's Sue Me. High wind warnings tonight. So, yeah.
Hope you got something to back up your refrigerator and freezer.
Yeah. So, now the only thing that I do not like about this stove, well, it works so for like a round bottom wok will fit down in. Let me see if I can zoom in just on if it has a close up of the grates. That one's not really showing it, but all right. They kind of changed it up. Mine has the different steps on it, so they changed up they updated the picture and changed up the burners on it. See, on mine, it doesn't just drop down once and kind of a big flat piece coming out. It drops down in several steps going down. So it makes it kind of hard to balance certain size pots. But I found a nice, easy way around that. I just got a 9-inch wire cake rack, cooler rack, I just lay it on top of there. And it doesn't matter what size pot I use, it works fine. So, but anything that we're, that is, this is probably one of the better ways to go for a quote off-grid canning, because you're using a 30-pound. You can do it with a 20-pound. It'll do a canning session with a 20-pound bottle. I've done 3 on the 30-pound. I've done 3 so far on the 30-pounder. And some people have husky men or boys around that can carry the 40-pound in, and you can use the 40-pounder to do it. And that'll give you a longer time to do it, unless you're hooked up to a big propane tank outside.
Yeah.
But yeah, these work really cool. All right, propane burns hotter. So you got to have the flame turned down lower than you would on a gas stove. So on a natural gas stove, you're going to have the flame up at a certain level. The propane is going to be turned down just a little bit because it's a hotter flame. Now, if you wanted to sear meat, throw a big griddle on and sear meat, yeah, you're going to want to do that. That'll work better on a propane stove than a natural gas stove. Because most stovetops don't have enough jets and stuff on their burners and stuff really to put out the heat to do that. Any questions out there on this stuff? All right. So anyway, I hope I'm really hoping Tammy feels better here and gets over her stuff there.
Yeah, I got to talk to her anyway.
Yeah.
I'm going to the food summit.
Yeah. In Ohio.
I'm waiting to hear back. I sent an email to the campground. I haven't heard back. Hopefully they got something because I haven't heard anything from them.
Yeah.
And I got to call them tomorrow. They're they're only open like Tuesday through Thursday in the office. So hopefully I'll hear back tomorrow. If not, I'll call them up. Need to make that. And then I got to get tickets because the tickets are a little pricey, but I think Tammy can get tickets or get me a discount because it's me and my buddy going out there.
Oh, and they will, Tammy and, forgot her name. The other one. There's two of them in the canning booth. Tammy and the other lady, and they're on some sort of propane stoves out there. They're on, they're canning on propane in the tent, in the big tent. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm going to wind up being her cameraman this year. I'm like, give me your phone, Tammy. I'll live stream you because she can't live stream herself and talk at the same time. So,
yeah. Oh. Well, Mark, what you do is you live stream it, and you live stream both hers and yours.
Right. Well, it's her show. If it's her phone, I'll do hers and then live stream it on mine. But sure.
Yeah.
I'll have my buddy Uncle Richard. We call him Uncle Richard. We're gonna get him his own YouTube channel one of these days. Yeah. And he's my backup support. So I'll be live streaming Tammy. He'll be live streaming me, live streaming Tammy.
No, just when you go up on Tammy's, share the link and then go on Tammy's and click on it and to share to my channel and pick your channel and just stream it to your channel.
Yeah, we'll figure it out when we get there.
Yeah. Or there's
a whole lot of YouTube people that I know that are going that I am just absolutely looking forward to saying hi to in person.
Yeah. Well, if you're live streaming, if both of you are there, you have set up the two cameras like this, and you live stream it like this, two cameras from different angles.
Yeah. I got my GoPro, which hooks to my phone, which I got whatever and tripods and stuff. So I got her covered one way or another. I'll bring enough equipment to do something and get it done.
Can't turn out to stop from going over pressure. Ooh. Sounds like you need to get the jets replaced on it. The little jet things on it, or get them cleaned or something.
Yeah, or
not the ring, but in the valve jet, in the
the orifice, yeah.
The orifice and the needle valve on it, possibly.
Or put if the stove is meant to be that high all the time, if you have a smaller burner, use that. Yeah. If not, put a diffuser on it, put a steel plate on it. Yeah. To calm it down and give it a more equal heat so it doesn't over temp it.
That kind of forces the more heat out the side before it gets into the pot and stuff.
Yep.
So
yeah, I know, Lewis. I need to do more live streams. I'm getting there. I have a life I have to do other things with right now than to worry about live streaming stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So I think we covered, off-grid canning. If you got off-grid canning, if you got a propane camp stove or a good barbecue grill that actually has a burner on it or has the burners on the grill up there close enough where you can actually control the temperature. You can pressure can on it. It's going to be easier to water bath can on it.
Yeah, be careful of those little side burners on your barbecue, depending on what you paid for it and how big the burner is. You may want to just throw a pressure canner on there just with water in it and see if you can get it to come up to pressure.
Yeah.
Because those burners are not huge. They're only like, anywhere from 5,000 to 8,000 BTU. May not be enough to bring a pressure canner up to temp. And the weight on one side of your barbecue may be enough to flip your barbecue over. And that's the last thing you want to do is put something super heavy on there, and all of a sudden it drops on the ground. You just lost everything and broke jars. Yeah,
and you may damage the burner. I mean the canner too when it hits the ground. But I have an older Coleman that was a gift, brand new. Oh, one of the ones that were in a box. They bought it and they never used it.
Oh, love those.
Those are primo.
Vintage 1981, brand new in a box. Sweet.
Vintage 1965, brand new in a box.
Yeah, you open it up as long as that metal bar over the burner is not black, blue, or some other color and it looks the same. It was never used. You might want to think about replacing the gaskets and the little thumb pump because they do dry out.
Yeah, and there are kits here on Amazon for the Coleman stove pumps. You can either buy the whole pump, you just screw it out, buy the whole pump, or you can buy the gasket kits for it.
Yep.
Or both.
Buy a couple of them if they're cheap. That way you have a backup.
Yeah, you buy the gaskets, you buy an extra pump. You go ahead and put the new pump on it, and you fiddle around and get the other one, the gaskets changed out on it, and you have a spare. You can just switch really quick.
Yeah, not while you're cooking.
We'll check on warranty.
Don't forget to fill out the index card with the 9-cent stamp and send it into Coleman. Yeah, good luck with that. I thought about doing that. I was just like, I got warranty cards from stuff that's like 40 years old. I'm like, that would be interesting. Is my warranty still good? No. Do you have the receipt? Sure, from 40 years ago.
Believe it or not, we found, and my mom kept all the receipts. All right, you're talking, all right, born in 1922, child of the Depression. Yeah.
Yeah. My mom did
she had all the receipts and everything. And the one camp stove that they bought in the 60s, when I say like 61, 62, 63, she had the manual for it and the receipt from Monkey Ward's.
That's what my mom had. My mom had her very first check payment to Sears Roebuck in, 1953 with the canceled check stapled to the receipt just to make sure, 70 years later, they didn't come back on her. And we had boxes of stuff we had to get rid of when I had to clean the house out. That was not fun. And we moved it twice.
Yeah. Regular pots like this one, this little big aluminum pot here. It's not a water bath canner. Although I did finally buy a canner rack that fits that one.
Right. So just to be clear, water bath, you don't need to buy that special pot at Tractor Supply with the granite ware and all that stuff. You just need a pot with something underneath it, and you can use a towel. I've done it. As long as you can put about 1 inch to 2 inches of water over the top of the jars, even if you're only doing 6 jars, pints. As long as you get water over it and it's not too close to the top where it's spitting all over your stove, and you have something to keep the direct heat from touching the jars, a water bath canner is just a pot with water in it that you can put your jars in. And I have a couple pots, small pot. Well, for me, they're small. I bought 9.5-inch diffuser plates for canners that fit perfectly in it. And I put them in the bottom, and I'll water bath stuff in those because if I'm only doing like 6 pints, I don't need to fire up this massive canner with these special racks in it. No, you don't need that.
All right.
You're just boiling stuff, just like the big square ones. I mean,
well, look at this, Mark. The one on the left here is on sale, regular $149, but not down there. Okay, 15 quart.
Yep.
Regularly $149. The one next to it, 13 gallon.
Yeah. Well, 13. That's a 13 gallon by measurement of water in the square pot. Not you can't fit 13 1-gallon ball jars in there.
No.
That's what you got to watch out for.
So it's 50 liter or 13 gallons. You got here's a 15 liter 13.2 gallon for 94.
Those you put over a wood stove. Yeah, you can put it over your whole gas stove in the house with 2 or 3 burners running to keep it all boiling nice and even.
Yeah. So they got all sorts of different sizes. This says 15 quart jar on it, not polished, so it's a brush finish on it. And then this one does show the that it's got the drain valve on it. That's to something, but yeah, there's some of the other ones. I'm noticing that Amazon doesn't carry the big monster canner.
No, you got to go. You got to go to some of the specialty Amish stores for that.
Yeah.
Or Mennonite stores.
Let's just do a little search on that for that here.
Or know somebody in the sheet metal shop that'll bend you one out of stainless and weld the corners and make sure they're watertight. Yeah. And make you a cover for it.
Amish made stovetop one. This is a looks like one of these small ones here. One of these 15 quart ones, whatever.
You got to watch that too on like Amazon. Amish made. No, it's not made by the Amish. It's made in China. I don't think there's any Amish in China because they have kind of a religious issue over there.
Yeah. Anyways, let me go and pull this down. Shoot. I don't have that picture. Anyways, there was a picture I pulled up and I was sharing that maybe I do have it in one of the. I'm gonna go digging for it. I mean, you're talking about this one looked like a small bathtub.
Oh yeah, you can fit like 30 quarts or 50 quarts in there.
You probably fit more than that.
Big stove, either wood burning or whatever. They make their own stoves. They make everything they need.
Yeah. No, this is being done outside. This is being done outside. It looked like a friggin' bathtub outside. Yeah.
And they got 14 Amish women there, all doing their job and individually doing everything to get it in there. And everybody does something. They all have their specific function, and they do it. And it's a team effort, which is amazing because you don't find that anymore these days in the average community. So, and
the teenage boys are hauling firewood over.
Oh yeah, yep. Teenage boys. They got the 4 or 5, 6-year-olds bringing wood over. Everybody works.
Okay, let me. I'm just looking at the thing.
Yeah, I'm kind of lost in the chat there.
I'm just looking at catching up into the chat here.
A couple different conversations going on at once there.
Yeah. Yeah, something going on. They pick up groceries every couple of days. Yeah, they don't do big pantries. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, they do. A lot of the Amish do have huge pantries.
Yeah, do huge. So it's just somebody else. So they don't do that. Yeah, and yeah. The last 3 comments there going down. Oh, I see what it is. Talking about this. Well, we're talking about on Saturday on Shadow Scout Swedes, and I also streamed it to Gray Man Prepping too.
Yeah, and you can buy canners over there. They're unbelievably pricey.
Oh, hang on a second. Here's the arm, and here's the leg.
Yep. And
here's my firstborn.
They use a different kind of jar over there. It almost looks like I forget the name of the yogurt. It looks like those yogurt jars with the little metal clamp down things with the rubber gasket on it. with a glass lid, which is actually better. There's no metal or anything involved. It's just glass, and silicone or
and those glass lids are nice and thick.
Yep.
All right. So we're hitting top of the hour. So coming up here this week, not sure if Tammy's going to be feeling better to go live Thursday or not. Tomorrow night on Gray Man Prepping for Tactical Tuesday. The topic is, do you have enough insurance? And we'll be talking a little bit about the different types of insurance. And we're going to be referring you to see your either your insurance agent or a financial planner that does living trusts and stuff, because we talk about trusts as well tomorrow night in with insurance. Basically, you make the trust the owner of the insurance, not the beneficiary. Therefore, you avoid all the payment. It's a legal way of not having to pay taxes on it. So, anyways, so that's tomorrow night on Gray Man Prepping. Thursday night is the Midnight Ride. Oh, by the way, go over and check the Gray Man Prepping's community tab. I got a poll going on about changing the time for the Midnight Ride. So those that stay up late and watch the Midnight Ride, it starts at 10 o'clock Eastern time. It was, do you want to keep it here? Do you want to move it forward 1 hour or move it forward 2 hours? So it starts earlier.
Well, for me out here, 10 p.m. is fine. I'm not sure how many East Coast you got. What's his name in Florida? And then the rest of y'all are probably Midwest and further west.
Yeah.
But anyways, whatever. I personally don't care. I leave it alone, but twice, because I voted twice because I have 2 logins.
Oh, you heard that? He cheated. I get to avoid 2 of those.
Nope, that it only comes up once per login, and I have 2 valid channels. I didn't create some spam channel just to vote. I got 2. You want me to? Don't make me start picking the other one. I will.
All right. Anyways, over on Gray Man Prepping in the community tab, it is the voting poll thing. So pick your want it to stay there, want to move it up, whatever. All right. So Friday night back here on Camppatton Family Compound. Friday night, we're going to talk about repairing and taking care of your garden tools, because it's time to get out there and start using them. If you didn't take care of those handles, you may want to be taking care of the handles, sharpening them up, removing the rust, painting spots. And we'll talk about all that on Friday. Saturday, the 12th, on Gray Man Prepping for Survival Saturday. The topic is after the local mega disaster, what are your plans? And we're going to have people pick areas. We're going to talk about a local major disaster, such as what happened in North Carolina and Tennessee, and what are your plans for something like that happening in your area, or whether it's a tornado. Well, it's like this should have been an F6 tornado. They don't go higher than 5, but this should have been an F6 or whatever. So that's what's coming up on Saturday with a giveaway on Gray Man for Gray Man Prepping for the 2,000 subscriber giveaway. So unless you're a survivalist level or the fortress level, you have to be there to win. Those are the survivalist and fortress levels are the big dollar levels. Part of their thing is they don't have to be present to win.
So I get 2 chances.
You got 2 chances,
and you know where my chances are going depending on the prize. Yeah. Somebody needs a new freaking laptop still.
Yeah. So there's going to be some giveaways for those that are in the chat, and there's going to be some giveaways for those that are channel members. All right. So, and then that brings us up to next Monday. And next Monday is going to be a real pot stirrer. What does not approved really mean in canning?
Wow.
Yes, we're going down the rabbit hole on this one with the 4-letter alphabet agency that is bought and paid for.
You can't do that. You're gonna die.
Yeah. Well, my grandmother lived to be 83 before the cigarette cancer got her, and my great-grandmother lived to be 97.
You're going to kill your family. You're going to kill your friends. You can't do that. Everybody's going to get sick.
Hey, don't say the K word. Don't say the K word.
K word, the B word.
No, the K word.
K word?
You're going to your family. No, don't say the K word.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. All right, so that's what's coming up here, folks. And we'll see you around. And if you have any suggestions for topics you want to see brought up here on the canning on Monday night, in the bottom of the description is my email. Send me an email, and I'll add it to the schedule. All right, folks.
Tammy says I'm a bad raccoon.
Bad raccoon. All right, everyone. See you later.
Have a good night.